Hi guys, it's Scott Withers. I'm from Albany, Oregon, new to Team Discraft for 2021. I wanted to do a real quick in the bag. I'm here with Colin from CH Sports, and we're excited to kind of show you guys what I'm throwing to start the 2021 season. Let's start with putters, and up top, our bag, I guess, we're carrying the Pound Octo Thorpe. I've had this bag for a couple years. It was a custom colorway that Levi at Pound let me do, so these are the best bags on the market. Haul everything you need, super comfortable. It feels like you're carrying something half the weight, and I've probably got, 25 discs in here right now, and it has the capacity to put a lot more, so thanks to Levi and Pound for making the best bags out there. Starting off, I am putting with Challenger SS's. I know it's a mold that isn't maybe the most popular thing with Discraft with the Lunas, but I feel like they're pretty similar to Lunas. They're just a little more rounded and feel more comfortable in my hand. These are in Pro D plastic. I like my putters to not have any stamps on them, so they're wiped. But they're a little soft. Oregon winters are kind of cold, so these things feel really good, and they grab chains super well, which is kind of a new thing for putters that I'm putting with. So they are a little lower profile, they're fast, and they come out of my hand really clean. I love these things. My throwing putter I got from my buddy Jared Gogol is a titanium Challenger. This thing's old, probably from like 2010 or 2011. He did all the work for me, and I'm super thankful. So this is taking the place of like my 260 foot and in dead straight shots, or a little bit of hyzer if I decide to put the angle on it. It doesn't hold super long on an ante. Like, it's still a titanium Challenger, so it still fights out, but as a throwing putter, this thing's been beat up, and Jared did all the work for me, so I appreciate that. This thing's great. And then as a Discraft player, you got to have a zone. Somehow I only have one in the bag today. This is a Sparkle ESP Zone that I got from Jeff Cords with Resistance right when I was switching over to Discraft. He gave me a bunch of stuff to try out. So forehand mainly. One of the things I am really liking about the Zone, though, that I didn't have in my Innova bag was the ability to throw this thing backhand, where I couldn't necessarily do that with some of my old Gators. The Zone, I can throw backhand, it'll go straight for a while, and then dump, and then angle control forehand. I mean, everyone knows the Zone. You got to have one in your bag if you're a Discraft player. Onto my mid-ranges. I've got 6 mid-ranges in my bag. Most stable for my backhand game is an ESP Malta. I really like this thing. I feel like the Malta I can throw about 330 or 340 feet, maybe a little more if I try to crush on it, but it immediately wants to go left. So instead of having the straight flight where it dumps, I feel like if you have a hole that is a gradual turn left the whole way, the Malta is definitely the way to go for that. I love it. We'll get some shots of that today as we're out playing for sure, but Malta, really cool disc. Next in stability is a Buzzos in Z plastic, crystal Z plastic, I think. It doesn't say it on there, but it's a little softer. I'm only using this thing for forehands, and it's kind of a freak of a Buzzos, I think. I can throw it almost as hard as I want. It's the most stable mid-range in my bag for forehands. It's more stable than the Zone I have. So it fits super well. It's flat. It's a little soft. I can really get my hand into it, and I can really rip on this thing sidearm. Next in the line of stability, I have one Z Wasp in my bag. This thing is straight with left finish. It's definitely straighter than the Malta, but is always going to finish left. I feel like it's for those shots that need to go straight and then dump a little hard at the or at the end of the flight. But the Wasp, I haven't thrown this thing a ton of times, but the probably 10 or 15 times that I have thrown it, I really like it. I have 2 Buzzos in my bag. The first is an American flag Amateur Disc Golf Championships one from, I don't know, it's got to be one of those 10-year Buzzos, I think. It is one of the Wasp tooled ones from a while ago. This thing is really overstable for a Buzz. I can throw this thing like 370 or 380. I can just totally crank on it backhand and trust that it's going to go straight for a long time and then slow fade to the left at the end. I don't feel like I can really turn it over, which is a cool thing for a mid-range that I can throw this hard. So I really like this thing. But my workhorse Buzz is an old 2011 Nate Doss World Championship TI Buzz. This thing's more beat up. It's dead straight. It's the one that's going to go through the woods, and you can start on a little bit of hyzer and have it stand up. and go straight for a while. I can throw it on turnovers. I will throw this mid-range more than any other mid-range in my bag right now. I just trust it. I trust it for 240-foot shots all the way up to about 350-foot shots. And then lastly, one Discraft sent me the other day is a ESP Meteor. These things are really cool turnover discs. This one's, I would say, kind of on the stable side for a Meteor, and I can throw it pretty hard, and it will gradually fade to the right, but it's not like turning into a roller. I've messed with some other Meteors that are less stable than this, but this will be used for good high turnover shots, ones that forehead's not really a play, and you need to get it to wrap around a corner. So the Meteor is a pretty cool disc. Moving on to my fairway drivers. I've always been a big fairway driver guy, and it's a huge part of my game. So the transition over to some new ones was an important one for me to get right. Roller disc, Avenger SS, probably not a surprise for Discraft throwers. I love the Avenger SS. I used to throw it years ago before I had any other sponsors, and it was my roller disc. It was an easy transition to go back to this one. I don't throw it for air shots, really. It's simply just for rollers. Next in the line of stability, I've got an older Z tracker that is really, really straight, and then we'll finish a little at the end. I can get this thing to go right if I want to throw it on a flat line or a little bit of ante, and then it kind of straightens out at the end. But it's more of my turnover disc for this one, but I do like it, and that was kind of a hole that I needed to fill, so the tracker's been a pretty cool addition. I think my favorite fairway driver right now is this ESP Vulture. I can throw this thing up to 400 feet, maybe just a touch more if I want to, but it is one that I release on hyzer and it flips up and just goes straight forever. I don't think I've ever had a fairway driver that's a 10-speed that I can throw with a little bit of hyzer and it just wants to ride straight and never come off that line. It doesn't want to go left, it doesn't want to go right, and then it'll have just the softest little fade at the end, but I think this is probably my favorite fairway driver in my bag right now. We're going to slow down the speed a little, but increase the stability. This is a titanium Stalker. It's what I'm throwing for all of my like 310 to 360 foot hyzer shots, which is a big shot in disc golf. I know not all Stalkers are as stable as this one, but this thing's really board flat. Not the easiest color to find, so I got to throw good shots with it so I don't lose it. But it's a sweet disc, and I'm sure we'll get some highlights today of throwing this one. And then I've got two of the Macbeth Onyxes in the bag. One is the prototype one, and this is the one I throw more. And I just got this 1060 bottom stamp one, which is equally as stable but a little more domey. These things fill the gap. I can throw them 430, 440 feet, and I can really crunch on them. I love the flight of these. They're a perfect complement to the Vulture where it goes straight. The Onyx wants to go left, but they feel really similar in the hand, which I like, and the flight's just a little different. The 1061, super pretty. We know Discraft does the best swirls in their plastic in the game. And then the orange one, just my complete workhorse of a stable, fast fairway driver. And then my forehand disc, also got from my buddy Jeff. This is a Crystal Raptor. This thing is a hog. It's so overstable. This is what I'm throwing all my forehands with. I haven't really tried throwing thumbers with it yet. I'm sure that will kind of be something that I can do with this thing. I don't even throw it backhand very much because it's so overstable I don't need to, but it definitely takes the place of that like 10-speed, stable fairway driver for sidearms. And then I have four distance drivers in my bag. I've never been a guy that carries a ton of different distance drivers. I just carry a couple that I really like. First one is Adam Hames Zeus from Resistance Discs. It's a little domey, and I really do like the Zeuses when they have some dome to them. This one is probably my max distance disc where I'm going to be throwing it just above the 500-foot line. We'll get some big rips out here at Milo today and see where it goes, but a little less stable than the Forces I have in my bag, but definitely not one of the Zeuses that wants to roll into the ground, and I like the dome because it lets it glide a little farther. Next in stability is a ESP Force that Discraft just sent me. It's so pretty. It's got orange and pink and purple in it, and then the back is super swirly too. This is kind of my do-everything Force at this point. It's the one that is going to stand up if I throw it really hard and ride straight for a long time and then come back to the left, or if I throw it on hyzer, it's going to push out and get that distance. It's not super overstable, but that's really something that I needed out of the Discraft lineup, so this fills the spot of kind of my max distance when the Zeus might be the max distance when I'm like in a wide open field and it doesn't matter where it goes, but this is kind of my big time distance disc when I know that I need to keep it in the fairway. Next one is another super pretty, super swirly, bright orange and yellow and kind of peach colored ESP Force. This one's a little more stable than the one I just showed you, and kind of fills in that 450-foot hyzer shot because it's not going to go quite as far as the other one. I definitely throw this purple one more, but this is in the bag just in case. And then lastly is one of the Hannam Z Forces from last year. This is my complete meat hook. This is the one that I can't really throw more than 450 no matter how hard I want to throw it. And this is the one that I'm going to use for sidearm most of the time because it can take any power that I put on it. So if you guys have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Give me a follow on Instagram at withers_discgolf. But thank you for checking this out, and thanks to Colin from CH Sports for filming. See you guys later.